Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. So if you're now just joining us, that's unfortunate because we have been having an extremely interesting conversation with former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith and political leader of the National Transformation Alliance. Now, we started off our conversation talking about the SRC's recommendations for a salary increase for public officials. We then started chatting a bit about the upcoming general election, some of the reasons why persons may or may not be supporting the big two, as we call it, right? The main political entities that we are aware of, the opposition and the current administration. And there are a number of other issues that have been in this space regarding forex currency and security and safety and just economic growth that, as you indicated before, are some of the key focuses, especially for those swing voters. But as we round up this morning's discussion, we're going to be chatting a bit in your capacity as former police commissioner on some of the arrests that we've seen happening and some of the cases, increased number of cases among police officers. What are some of your views on this situation?
Again, it is unfortunate that when we try to politicize national security, within 2 months when I was commissioner of police, a scathing letter from the Police Service Commission buffing me because of the mass number of police officers being absent in court. And it meant that many persons who should be incarcerated, they were getting back out onto the streets to be involved in white-collar crime, murder, grievous. So that was a major factor that caused crime to continue, because the criminal elements knew that crime being a product of opportunity, I could commit the crime, get apprehended, and there's a 90 to 95% chance when I go to court, the police officers will either not be there or they will not be qualified and trained enough to be able to withstand the scrutiny and challenge of my qualified defense attorneys who would be able to. That became a letter that they sent to me, and I said, but poor me, I mean, I just became commissioner. This is something that I inherited based on failures by commissioners before me for decades not to deal with the problem. So immediately I'm having lays with the and others. We looked at, and I looked at international best practice, and we put 3 systems in place to put an end to that. One was to bring in civilian attorneys who would be more qualified, better trained than the average police officer with a first degree and lower, who actually believes that he is qualified to represent the state against hardened, seasoned defense attorneys of those persons who have been charged. And by doing that, they were able to package case management, prosecutorial, so that they can have a proper case management package that, as a prosecutor, that when they go to court, they can be able to win the case. And we started seeing an increase in the percentage of cases being won because of that, bringing in those civilian attorneys who had the capability to be able to match the defense attorneys. The second was to make sure that we had backup police officers in case the police officer who was supposed to be the main prosecutor will be able to, in case that person is absent based on death, sickness, resignation, absenteeism, vacation, or even being a rogue element and being paid off by the criminal elements, you had the backup officer. So it a situation where the officer, when there will be an absence of police presence as the prosecutor. And the third was systems to measure their performance and make them accountable. In other words, every week, then recently deceased ACP Prague, who was excellent in trying to transform the problem of police absenteeism in court and making us win cases, he will give me a list of officers who will be absent, and then disciplinary action will be taken. So once officers understood that there were consequences, they will not be absent from court. Those 3 things caused a massive turnaround in the problem that we had. In fact, the Police Service Commission 1 year later then sent a commendation to me on behalf of the police service, where every one of the 9 then divisions, to the point of over 90% in reduction in police absenteeism. That is what played the major part, or one of the major parts, towards the highest reduction in violent crime in 17 years, because the criminal elements realize now that there's a good chance they would be apprehended and they would be incarcerated. And with that, now it prevented them from committing the crime, because now there was a deterrent. The product of opportunity will no longer be there. But also, when charged, we will go through the whole criminal justice system to ensure that you could not get out of jail. All of these things, Earl Christopher and Old MacDonald Jacob decided to remove, taking away the backup police officer and taken away disciplinary action. Because of that, the criminal elements have realized yet again I could commit the crime and there will be no officers there, or the officers will be on the tape. There will be a poor case management system. That is what is required. I think it is rather unfortunate that the country is applauding bad management based on a knee-jerk system of what they're trying to do to rectify the situation by relaying the charges. It is similar to somebody who is intoxicated. You bunk somebody, but you put the person in the car to take them to the hospital, and everybody applauds the person for being a good Samaritan. You caused the accident in the first place by removing the systems that would have prevented the case having been dropped in the first place. And now by you relaying the charges, I ask the country to understand that this is only taking place because it is a high profile, but there have been hundreds and hundreds of situations where criminal elements who should be incarcerated were freed and persons did not get justice, whether being raped, kidnapped, robbed, because the police did not do their job. We have situations of domestic violence now where police officers will not be attending court, and the victim is now going to, and the person who committed the crime is getting out smiling. So we are being pleased about this one incident because it is high profile. Hundreds of cases have flopped because of the lack of the political will of persons keeping systems that worked. What is required is for us to look at what worked, never be political, and this matter would not have taken place. So what we intend to do is to reignite those three policies that I put in place to ensure that what we would have seen 3 years ago, which is over 83 to 91% reduction in police absenteeism in court, would take place yet again, and to make sure we have a proper prosecution, to do proper case file management to win those cases to court.
Excellent. Well, that was an extensive explanation on that. So we want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and always making yourself available to chat, to give us updates on everything that's happening at the National Transformation Alliance. And we look forward to see what you would be bringing to the political sphere coming for that upcoming general election. Again, we want to thank you for your time this morning. Guys, we want to thank you for staying tuned this morning. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have done to continue to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. And again, I am Shenell Felix. Thank you and have a great day.